AITA for leaving my wife after she said she was never attracted to me? I guess I should start from the beginning, right? Me, a 32-year-old man, truly thought I had a good marriage with Amanda, a 29-year-old woman. It wasn't a perfect fairy tale or anything, but it was solid. We'd been together for almost 4 years, 2 of those married, and I honestly believed we were doing pretty well. I worked my tail off at my construction management job to make sure we had a nice home in a decent neighborhood. I took her out often, bought her little gifts, you know, the whole package. I loved this woman, the kind of love that makes you wake up feeling lucky just to see her. She seemed sweet too, always packing my lunch for work, sending cute texts throughout the day, planning little surprises to show she cared, or so I thought. Once, when I had a really bad flu, she stayed home to take care of me, made me soup, checked on me constantly. All that stuff makes you feel like you have someone who genuinely cares, right? But a couple of months ago, things started to feel off. Nothing too obvious at first, just small shifts in her demeanor. She'd come home from her accounting job completely drained. Not the normal tired, but like she was emotionally empty. I'd ask her about her day, and she'd just mumble fine before zoning out in front of the TV. She used to tell me crazy stories about her coworkers or clients. But now, nothing. What really worried me was how she seemed to completely disconnect sometimes. We'd be eating dinner, and I'd notice she hadn't even touched her food, just staring off into space, like her mind was somewhere else. When I'd ask her what she was thinking about, she'd snap back and say, "Nothing," or "work stuff," followed by a forced smile that never quite reached her eyes. "Honey, is everything okay between us?" I asked one night after she'd barely spoken 10 words the entire evening. She looked at me with a strange expression, almost guilty. "Everything's fine, Ryan. I'm just dealing with some stuff at work. You know you can talk to me about anything, right? We're a team." "I know," she replied with that fake smile again. "I just need some space to clear my head. It's nothing you need to worry about." But I did worry. I started paying closer attention, trying to figure out what was going on. Was she depressed? Overworked? Had I done something wrong? I tried to rekindle the connection between us. I bought her little gifts, planned date nights. She seemed happy sometimes, but it always felt forced, like she was putting on an act. Then came the day I overheard something that made my stomach drop. I'd come home early because we finished a project ahead of schedule. As I approached the door, I heard Amanda's voice through the open window. She was on the phone with her sister, Katie. "I don't know how to tell him," she was saying, her voice strained. "It's not like he did anything wrong. He's a good guy. That's what makes this so hard." Katie was on speakerphone, so I heard everything. "Just rip off the Band-Aid," Katie replied. "Divorce is never easy, but dragging it out only makes it worse." My heart practically stopped. Divorce. __. I stood there frozen, unsure whether to walk in or wait to hear more. But then Amanda started moving around the house, and I panicked. I backed away, got in my truck, and drove for an hour trying to process what I'd just heard. When I finally went back home, I convinced myself I'd misheard. Maybe Katie was the one getting divorced. Yeah, that had to be it. Amanda's sister always had relationship troubles. It couldn't be about us. Our relationship was solid. Maybe not perfect lately, but nothing that warranted a divorce. I walked in acting normal and found Amanda on the couch, scrolling through her phone. She looked up and seemed surprised to see me. "Oh, you're home early," she said quickly, flipping her phone face down. "Yeah, we finished the project ahead of schedule," I replied, watching her carefully. "Everything okay with Katie?" Her eyes widened slightly. "Katie? Oh, yeah, the usual with her." I nodded, pretending to believe her, but inside I was more confused than ever. Why was she lying? And what was she hiding on her phone? The next few weeks were weird. I couldn't stop replaying that conversation in my head over and over. Amanda was more distant than ever, staying late at work, going out with co-workers she never talked about. I started to wonder if she was cheating on me. I know it sounds pathetic, but I started checking her social media more, looking for any clues about what was going on. But her Instagram was the same as always, boring food pictures and office selfies. When I glanced at her texts, I didn't see anything suspicious either. I tried even harder. Cooked her favorite meals, suggested a romantic weekend getaway, even bought her a necklace she'd been eyeing for months. She seemed touched, but there was still something in her eyes, like she felt guilty about something. That night, I lay awake next to her, wondering if our entire marriage had been a story I'd made up in my head. I kept thinking, what if everything I thought was real never was? And then came that Friday night where everything broke. Amanda told me she was going out with her co-workers for an office event. This had become a frequent occurrence lately. She would come home tipsy and go straight to bed. But this night was different. I was half asleep on the couch watching some dumb movie when I heard her stumble in close to midnight. She wasn't just tipsy. She was completely plastered. Her makeup was smudged, and she could barely walk straight. "Hey," I said, sitting up. "You okay?" "I'm fine," she slurred, dropping her purse on the floor. She kicked off her heels and slumped onto the couch next to me. She smelled like she'd bathed in perfume, probably trying to cover the alcohol. "Have fun?" I asked, trying to sound normal, even though seeing her like this made me uneasy. "So much fun," she giggled, resting her head on my shoulder. "The girls are amazing. Way better than being at the office with all those boring people." Then her expression changed and she started playing with my hair. "You know what?" she asked. "One of the girls tonight," I prompted, feeling increasingly uncomfortable. "Asked me if I'm happy. Like, really happy with my life and everything." Her voice suddenly turned serious. "I'm happy, Ryan. I don't know. I don't even know if I am." This wasn't typical drunk Amanda talk. "I thought you were," I replied cautiously. She sighed dramatically. "You're a good guy, you know? So good it hurts." The way she said it didn't sound like a compliment. "Thanks," I replied, unsure where this was going. "No, seriously," she continued, waving her hand in the air. "You're good, stable, reliable, everything my parents always wanted for me." I felt my chest tighten. "And what's wrong with that?" She let out a strange laugh. Nothing's wrong with it. That's why I married you. Because, on paper, you're perfect." On paper, the way she said it stung. She turned to me, her gaze unfocused. "Can I tell you something? Something I've never told anyone." I nodded, even though every instinct told me to stop this conversation. "I've never really been attracted to you." The words came out of her mouth like she was commenting on the weather. "Not even in the beginning. I liked you. I respected you. But that spark, that feeling of wanting to rip someone's clothes off, I never had that with you." I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. "What the hell, Amanda?" She kept talking like she hadn't heard me. "My family was always pressuring me. When are you going to settle down? When are you going to find a nice boy? Stop wasting your time with jerks." She made a vague gesture with her hand. "Then I met you, and you were everything they wanted from me. And I thought, maybe this is what being an adult is. Maybe passion doesn't matter as much as stability." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "So, I was just convenient? A checklist item on your life plan?" No, no," she said, trying to take my hand, but I pulled away. "I love you, Ryan. Just not the way a wife should love her husband." "Not the way I loved," she trailed off. "The way you loved who?" I demanded, feeling everything click into place suddenly. "Is there someone else? Has there always been someone else?" She closed her eyes and I saw tears starting to form. "It doesn't matter. He's gone, been gone for years." At that point I didn't argue. I just sat there frozen, listening to her incoherent rambling. "Sometimes I wonder," she continued after a minute, the words slurring together, "what my life would have been like if I'd followed my heart instead of my head, but my parents would have disowned me. They hated him so much." She let out a bitter laugh. "But they adore you. Everyone adores Ryan. So reliable, so stable." Every word was a knife. All this time I thought we had something real, while she just saw me as the safe option, the guy her family approved of. "I wanted to feel it, you know," she said, staring at the ceiling. "I tried so hard to feel what I was supposed to feel. And you're always so good to me. Always making me feel guilty for not loving you the way I should. I didn't realize loving your husband was such a burden," I said, my voice shaking. "It's not a burden," she mumbled, her eyes heavy. "It's just not what I thought it would be. Not what I felt with him." "Who is he?" I asked, even though I wasn't sure I wanted to know the answer. "It doesn't matter," she slurred, her eyes closing. "He's gone. A long time ago." A few minutes later she was asleep on the couch, still dressed, her makeup smeared across her face. I sat there in the dark, feeling my entire world crumble. Everything I believed about us was a lie. Every kiss, every "I love you," every night together, all built on the foundation that I was her safe choice. Plan B, when her true love didn't work out. I grabbed a blanket and covered her, not because I felt any compassion for her in that moment, but because after 4 years together, my body acted on instinct. Then I went to our bedroom, alone, and started packing a bag to spend the night elsewhere. I couldn't stay in that house, not after what I'd heard. I checked into a motel a few miles away. I didn't even text her to tell her where I was. I just needed to get away from her and process what had just happened. I lay in that uncomfortable bed staring at the ceiling, replaying her words in my head over and over. I've never really been attracted to you. I couldn't stop wondering who this man was, the person she'd apparently been comparing me to throughout our entire relationship. I had so many questions, but I wasn't sure I could handle the answers. By morning, my phone had about 20 missed calls and texts from Amanda. The usual panicked messages. Where are you? I'm so sorry. Please come home. I didn't mean what I said. I was drunk and being stupid. Please call me. I finally replied with a simple, I need time. Don't contact me for a few days. Then I turned my phone off and sat in that cheap motel room, trying to decide what to do. My entire marriage, my future, everything I thought I had planned was a lie. She'd never loved me, not really. I was just the safe option, the guy who looked good on paper. I called work and said I was sick, the first time in 3 years. I couldn't face anyone, couldn't pretend everything was normal when my life had imploded. I needed answers. I needed to understand how I'd been so blind. The worst part was that little voice in my head whispering, maybe you always knew. Maybe, deep down, I'd sensed her feelings weren't as strong as mine, that something was missing. But I'd ignored it because I wanted to believe she loved me the way I loved her. Monday morning, I called in sick again. I wasn't ready to face the world. I needed answers, and there was one person who might have them. Jen, Amanda's best friend since college. If anyone knew who this guy was that Amanda had never gotten over, it was her. I'd always gotten along okay with Jen. We weren't friends or anything, but she at least seemed to approve of our relationship. She would tell me the truth. There was only one way to find out. I texted her and asked if we could meet for coffee, telling her I needed to talk about Amanda. She seemed surprised, but agreed. We met at a small coffee shop downtown, neutral territory. But the moment I saw her face, I knew. She knew. She knew my marriage was a sham, and she never told me. I tried to stay calm. Getting angry wouldn't get me answers. I didn't beat around the bush. I laid it all out for her. I told her Amanda had confessed everything while she was drunk, that she'd never been attracted to me, that she'd only chosen me because her family approved, that there had always been someone else. I watched Jen's face as I spoke, looking for any sign of surprise. There wasn't any. This wasn't news to her. Jen tried to soften it at first, saying that Amanda did care about me, just maybe not the way I thought she did, as if that made it hurt any less. But when I pressed her for details about who he was, she got uncomfortable. She said it wasn't her story to tell. That infuriated me. My entire marriage had been a lie, and she was worried about protecting Amanda's secret. I kept pushing. Finally, Jen caved and gave me some bare-bones facts. It was someone from before Amanda met me, someone her parents hated. It ended badly, and Amanda was devastated. Then she met me. I was stable, kind. Jen believed that Amanda genuinely wanted it to work. When I asked when exactly Amanda started acting strange, Jen said it had been in January. That's when everything clicked. January was when Amanda's company merged with another one, when all those outings with co-workers started, when she started coming home later. The pieces were starting to fall into place. I looked Jen straight in the eye and asked, did this guy come back into her life? Is he working with her now? Jen didn't want to answer, but her face gave her away. I knew that whoever this guy was, he was back, and that's why Amanda had been so distant. I left that coffee shop with my mind racing. If this man had returned, if they were working together, it all made sense. Her distance, her guilt, those mysterious late nights at work. Back at the motel, I tried to come up with a plan. I needed to know everything. All the lies, all the secrets, before I decided what to do. I had to understand exactly what I was dealing with. I decided to go back to our house when I knew Amanda would be at work. I didn't want to confront her yet. I didn't trust myself to keep my composure if I had to look her in the eye. The house felt different now, like I was walking into a stranger's home. I went straight to our home office. Amanda always left her laptop unlocked, another sign of how much she trusted me, or maybe how little she thought I'd ever question her. I wasn't proud of what I was about to do, but I needed answers. I started by going through her emails, scanning work communications for anything suspicious. At first, nothing jumped out at me. Then I checked her Google Drive and found a folder labeled Personal. one I'd never seen before. Inside were dozens of documents that looked like journal entries. The first one was dated 6 years ago, before we even met. Saw him today. Derek was with some blonde, laughing like he didn't have a care in the world. It's been 2 years since he left, and it still feels like yesterday. Mom says I need to move on, find someone suitable this time. As if my heart is something I can control, like I can just decide who to love. Derek. I finally had a name. I kept reading, moving through the entries, watching our relationship unfold from her perspective. The early entries, from when we first met, were almost clinical. Ryan seems nice. Stable job, good family, polite. Mom already loves him. He's nothing like Derek, which I guess is the point. My heart started to ache. Then I found an entry just before our engagement. Ryan proposed tonight. I said yes. Everyone is thrilled, saying how lucky I am that he's such a good man who's crazy about me. But right now it feels like my heart's been ripped out. Still, this should be enough, right? People settle for much less every day. Maybe, eventually, my feelings will catch up and this ache in my chest will go away. It has to. It made me sick to read it. All this time I thought we had something real, while she was convincing herself to settle for me. I also saw the entries from January of this year. Derek is back. His company merged with ours, and suddenly he's there, in the same building, taking up all the air. He looks the same, but different, older. He asked about my life, and I showed him pictures of Ryan in our house, talking about how happy I am. The biggest lie I've ever told. We had drinks after work, just as colleagues, I told myself. But the way he looks at me, it's still there. That electricity, that feeling like nothing else matters when he's around. What am I going to do? I can't sleep. I can't eat. All I think about is Derek. Ryan's been so attentive lately, bringing me flowers, planning dates. It makes me feel like the worst person in the world. He deserves someone who feels about him the way I feel about Derek, the way I've always felt. There were more recent entries too, showing her guilt, her confusion, her attempts to recommit to our marriage, but it was too late. The damage was done. I closed the laptop, feeling completely numb. There it was, in black and white. I'd never been more than a substitute, a placeholder, the stand-in for the man she really wanted. I took pictures of some of the entries with my phone, and then I put everything back in its place. I wasn't going to confront her yet. I needed time to think, to plan my exit. Because there was one thing I was absolutely clear about. There was no going back. I went back to the motel and just sat there, staring at the pictures of her journal. 4 years of my life wasted on someone who only used me as a replacement, a plan B, while she pined for someone else. Every memory I had with her was now tainted. Every happy moment, every trip, every Christmas, none of it had been real. Not for her. I felt hollowed out, like someone had scooped out everything inside and left just an empty shell. I didn't know what to do next, but I knew I couldn't stay married to Amanda. Not after knowing the truth. That night, I finally called my brother, Jake, and told him everything. He was the only person I could trust with this. He told me to come stay with him, but I wasn't ready to face anyone yet. I needed to clear my head first. Man, you deserve better than that. She's a liar. He was right. I did deserve better. The next morning, I called a lawyer. It was time to end this sham of a marriage. I just wished I'd known the truth years ago, before I'd wasted so much time loving someone who never truly loved me back. I spent the next week planning my exit. I met with the lawyer twice, started separating our finances, and looked for apartments. I didn't tell anyone what was happening, not even my closest friends. I couldn't bear the thought of saying it out loud. Amanda kept calling and texting. She even showed up at my work once, but I managed to avoid her. I only responded with short texts, telling her I was fine but needed space. She was desperate, I could tell, probably worried that I'd found out about Derek. The lawyer said I had a strong case for a fault-based divorce, based on emotional infidelity, but honestly, I just wanted out as quickly and cleanly as possible. I didn't even care about getting everything I was entitled to. I just wanted to be done with this fake marriage. After 10 days of staying away, I decided it was time to confront Amanda and tell her I knew everything. I arranged to meet her at our house on a Saturday afternoon. I'd already moved some essentials to the apartment I'd found, so I wasn't at risk of getting trapped there. Driving to the house felt strange. This place I thought we were building together, it had all been a lie. I sat in my truck for a moment, bracing myself for whatever Amanda might say or do. I wasn't going to let her manipulate me again. When I finally walked in, Amanda looked terrible. Her hair was a mess, she had dark circles under her eyes, and she was wearing one of my old sweatshirts. Classic move, wearing my clothes to try and tug at my heartstrings. She rushed towards me like she was going to hug me, but I stepped back. She launched into a whole speech about how sorry she was, how the things she said when she was drunk weren't true, how she'd been stressed about work and taken it out on me. She kept saying she loved me, that she'd always loved me, that she couldn't imagine her life without me. I let her talk. I just stood there, watching her perform. Because that's exactly what it was, a performance. One she'd been putting on for our entire relationship. When she finally stopped, I told her I knew about Derek. The color drained from her face. At first she tried to play dumb, asking who. Like she had no idea what I was talking about. But when I told her I'd read her journal entries, seen the letters, she deflated onto the couch. For a minute, she just sat there staring at her hands. Then came the excuses, that Derek was just an old flame, that the journal entries were just a way of processing confusing feelings, that she'd been trying to put the past behind her and focus on our marriage. I didn't believe a word of it. I told her I'd read everything, that I knew she'd been comparing me to him throughout our entire marriage, that I knew she'd been faking it when we were together, maybe even imagining him, that I knew she saw me as the safe option, the boring guy her parents approved of. Then she switched tactics. She started saying that I'd invaded her privacy, that going through her computer was a violation of trust, as if she was the victim in all of this. I almost laughed. The nerve of this woman, emotionally cheating on me throughout our entire marriage, and still trying to make me out to be the bad guy for finding out. I pulled the divorce papers out of my bag and placed them on the coffee table. I told her I was filing for divorce and that I'd already moved most of my belongings. That's when the real tears started. Sobbing, saying I was throwing away everything we'd built together over a stupid mistake. I asked her which mistake exactly. Marrying someone she wasn't attracted to? Writing love letters to another man while wearing my ring? Lying to me every single day for 4 years? She stayed silent. And then she uttered the sentence that truly showed who she was after all. After everything I've done for you, this is how you repay me? I cooked for you, cleaned for you, supported your career, was the perfect wife at all your work functions. I gave you the best years of my life. That's when I finally lost a bit of my composure. I told her I'd never asked for a perfect wife. I just wanted someone who actually loved me. Someone who didn't have to fake it when we were together. Someone who wasn't secretly writing love letters to another man while I was breaking my back trying to build a life for us. I suffered through being intimate with you for 4 years, she yelled, her face red. Do you know what it's like to let someone touch you when you're not attracted to them at all? I did that for you, because I was trying to make it work. And there it was, the truth, finally out in the open. For her, being with me had been a sacrifice, something she endured because she wanted to convince herself it could work. Every time I thought I couldn't feel any more humiliated, she found a new way to twist the knife. Somehow I kept my cool. I just said, "Thank you for finally being honest. This makes my decision even easier." She tried to backpedal immediately, saying she hadn't meant it, that she was just angry and hurt. But I wasn't interested in hearing any more of her lies. I told her she could sign the papers or not. It didn't matter. I was leaving either way. I wasn't going to fight. I wasn't going to drag this out. I just wanted to be free of her and this sham of a marriage. As I was heading for the door, she grabbed my arm and said something I'll never forget. "He doesn't want me either, you know? Derek just wanted the thrill of sneaking around." As soon as I told him I might leave my husband for him, he backed off, said he wasn't looking for anything serious. "That's not my problem anymore," I replied, and walked out the door. I went straight to my new apartment. No fake relationship, no pretending, just a place to start rebuilding my life without living a lie. That night, Amanda blew up my phone with calls and texts. She went from begging me to come back to threatening how difficult she'd make the divorce if I didn't. I didn't respond. I just silenced my phone and tried to sleep in my new home. I wasn't so naive to think this was over. Amanda wasn't the type to just let me go. She'd invested too much in our marriage, not because she loved me, but because it made her look good to other people. The perfect husband, the perfect house, the perfect life. A whole show she put on for others. 3 days after our confrontation, a delivery guy showed up at my apartment with about 20 bags of takeout from my favorite restaurant. There was a note that said, "I do remember what you like if I pay attention. Please call me. Ugh. I gave the food to my neighbors and didn't respond. In the meantime, I was just trying to put myself back together. I went back to work and had to deal with all the awkward questions about why I'd suddenly moved out. I gave vague answers about growing in different directions because I didn't want to go into the humiliating truth. But about 2 weeks after I left, Amanda showed up at my apartment unannounced. She knocked on the door on a Sunday morning while I was still in my pajamas. She looked different. She'd cut her hair and was dressed like she was going to church or something, a completely different style than her usual. I almost didn't let her in, but my neighbors were in the hallway and I didn't want to make a scene. Big mistake. As soon as the door closed, she started crying. She said she'd made the biggest mistake of her life and that she'd do anything to fix it. When I didn't immediately cave, she switched tactics and started listing all the practical reasons we should stay together. The house we'd lose, the financial hit, what our families would say, how awful Datin. G would be in our 30s. Not once did she mention love, only external reasons that had nothing to do with actual feelings. I pointed that out, and she got frustrated, saying that of course she loved me, that it shouldn't even need to be said. I told her that was exactly the problem. It always went without saying, because she could never honestly say it. She never could. But what I really couldn't believe, that she had the audacity to admit, was that she had gone to Derek and told him she'd made a mistake, that she now wanted to try things with him since I was out of the picture. And guess what? Derek rejected her. He said he wasn't looking for anything serious and they were just having fun. Classic karma. She tried to spin this into some kind of epiphany, like now that she was finally over Derek she could fully commit to me. As if I should be grateful to be her plan B again, after plan A rejected her again. The audacity of this woman never ceased to amaze me. I told her to leave, that we had nothing more to discuss except through our lawyers. She refused at first, saying she wouldn't leave until I agreed to at least consider reconciliation. I had to threaten to call the police before she finally left, slamming the door so hard I thought she'd break it. She didn't leave me alone for even one night. One evening I got a call from Amanda's sister, Katie. We'd always gotten along, so I answered. I know what she did, Katie said bluntly. I've known about Derek since college. I tried to tell her that marrying you while still obsessed with him was a mistake, but she wouldn't listen. Even her sister knew our marriage was based on lies. Katie apologized for not warning me. Somehow, she'd thought Amanda would eventually get over Derek and come to love me the way I deserved. She did love you, Katie insisted. Just not the way you needed. Not the way a marriage needs. A pretty poor consolation, but at least Katie was being honest, something I couldn't say about Amanda. The lawyers suggested mediation instead of a long, drawn-out court battle. He said if we could agree on the division of assets, we could be divorced in a few months instead of a year or more. I agreed immediately. I didn't even care about getting my fair share anymore. The house, the furniture, most of our savings. She could have it all if it meant getting out of this faster. When my lawyer contacted Amanda with the proposal, she initially refused. She said she wouldn't participate in anything designed to end our marriage, that she wanted therapy, not mediation. But when my lawyer made it clear that this was going to happen with or without her cooperation, and that a court battle would only make everything more public and messy, she finally agreed. It's been 6 months since everything fell apart. The divorce was finalized last week. I let her keep the house. We split the savings 60-40 in her favor. My lawyer thought I was an idiot, but I just wanted out. Signing those papers was surreal. For years of my life ended with a few signatures. Amanda cried. I felt nothing, just emptiness. I guess that's progress. We talked afterward. She apologized again. Said therapy was helping her see how she'd always made decisions based on other people's expectations. And guess what? Derek was fired for inappropriate harassment. Turns out I wasn't the only husband whose wife he was messing around with. She asked if we could be friends someday. I told her no. You can't build a friendship on lies, just like you can't build a marriage on them. As for me, things are looking up. I wasn't interested in dating anyone for months, until I met Megan, an architect who works for my company. We got into a discussion about some design details on a job site, and somehow ended up grabbing coffee. She's different from Amanda in every way, straightforward, honest, speaks her mind. When she likes something, you know it, and when she doesn't, she tells you straight up. We've only been on a couple of dates, taking it slow, but for the first time in a long time I'm excited about something real. Something based on genuine attraction, not convenience. I told Megan everything. I thought it might scare her off, but she just squeezed my hand and said, "His loss." And a big one. No drama, no pity. I heard Amanda is selling the house and moving to Chicago. The whole Derek thing blew up at her company. Can't say I feel sorry for her. She will be in another city. I still get angry sometimes thinking about the years I wasted, but mostly I'm grateful I found out before we had kids or I wasted any more time. In a weird way, I'm almost thankful that finding out the truth showed me what I don't want, which made it clearer what I do want. Someone who chooses me first, not as a backup option. I don't know what will happen with Megan. Maybe it will work out, maybe it won't, but I will never settle for being anyone's second choice again. Life's too short for that. Thanks to everyone who shared similar stories. It helped to know I wasn't alone. And to those who said I was too nice in the divorce. Maybe, but I sleep well knowing I took the high road. So that's it. I'm moving on, and for the first time in years I'm genuinely excited about what's next. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.